You're listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show, where wealth is empowering, purpose is crucial, and high vibes are non-negotiable. And now, here's your host, certified business coach and practical woo strategist, Sara J Loureiro.
Welcome back to another episode of the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. And I thought it would be really helpful to record this episode. It goes out especially to my clients and people in my community who constantly just tell me they're just really overwhelmed with everything that they're doing in their business. And I want to break down what overwhelm actually means in your business, what the 4 different types of overwhelm have been that I've identified in my clients, and how to overcome them, and really just how to get to a place of flow and a place where you are designing your business around your life and not the other way around. So the very first thing that I want to say in this episode, and I have said this so many times on my group coaching calls for all of my ladies in my Rapid Expansion Method program and my Wealth Expansion Method program as well. And that is that first and foremost, I would much rather see my clients stepping into the edge of overwhelm than not understanding what that feels like at all. And I know that that's a very controversial thing to say, especially in the current state of online business and online content creation, because there's so many people saying you constantly have to be in flow. Everything has to be flow. There can't be any hustle. Everything has to be manifested. Everything has to be super effortless and easy. And I'm here to call out the BS, especially if you are creating a business and especially if you are in the beginning stages of your business. What I would much rather see my clients do is get on the edge of their potential and sit right on that edge, versus being like, well, I just don't want to be overwhelmed. And, I'm afraid of being overwhelmed and never actually knowing what their full potential is. Because at least when you get on that edge of oh my goodness, there's so much going on and I can't keep up with it all, then you understand what the edge is. And then you can take a step back from it and start to rework how to reprioritize yourself and your life and, try to get to a place within business where you can make a few effective changes to get an even better result. But if you never experience the hustle, if you never experience working yourself really, really hard, if you never push yourself, you're never going to know what your limit is. And especially with business, and I can't stress this enough, you need to push your limit, especially if you want a 6-figure business, especially if you want a multiple 6-figure business, if you want a 7-figure business, you need to push yourself to that brink. And I truthfully just don't think it's going to happen unless you do. Or unless you hire a ton of other people to really figure out that hustle for you. And that's something that I'm going to be talking about in this episode as well. That's going to be one of my points. And the very first thing that I want to say in terms of why you're likely stuck in business overwhelm is because you're doing too many different things at once. And you probably don't need to be doing all of those different things at once. And so I'll give you an example. I've had clients in the past who are just like, I want to create a group program and I want to have my one-to-one program and I want to do my podcast and I want to be on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And I want to have an email list. And I'm also thinking about doing this lower cost offer. And so throughout the course of our 3 months or 6 months of working together, it's like they come to me with 10 different ideas of 10 different things they want to do simultaneously, all at the same time. And I quickly say to them, because I totally believe this, we have to focus on one thing at a time and optimizing one thing at a time. So that one thing could be a system between going from a low ticket program to a high ticket program, and constantly just optimizing that one thing, that one system for yourself before moving on to the next thing. If you are currently on Instagram and you still haven't mastered Instagram, you still haven't gotten clients from Instagram, and you know that that's your ideal market and you know that that's your ideal platform, then going into Facebook and also trying to get clients on Facebook is not going to help you if you still haven't mastered Instagram. Similarly, what I see a lot too is People doing one-to-one, they're not getting great results signing on one-to-one clients. And then so they think, well, I'm just going to create a group program. And then they create the group program and it doesn't get them any results because they still haven't fulfilled other gaps in their business like lead generation. And so then they say, well, I'm just going to create a low ticket program. And so they're just creating and creating and creating and trying to do so many different things at once, where you will actually do so much better in business if you go deep versus going long. Okay, so it's kind of like the difference between pouring all of your coffee into one perfect coffee mug and having the perfect amount of coffee and sipping through it and just really, really enjoying it versus pouring your coffee into 10 different coffee mugs. And then you have to drink it and sip it from all these 10 different mugs, and it's much more likely to cool down a lot quicker. And then you have to wash all of these mugs. And so it's just not an effective use of your time to be doing all the things. And I used to put hashtag all the things in the beginning stages of my business when I was calling in my clients, because what I truly try to do is simplify with you and make sure that you're understanding what are the most effective and efficient ways to grow your business, especially in the beginning. And then, of course, once you master one thing, then you can fold in another. So once you master Instagram, maybe you fold in Facebook, or once you master your one-to-ones, then you fold in a group program, or you fold in a course or a membership, or something else of your choice. But if you're feeling overwhelmed and you're doing a whole bunch of different things at once, it's time to look at how you can simplify your business. So reason number 2 that you might feel overwhelmed in your business is because you're not prioritizing one step at a time. And so this often happens with my clients when I give them my program and they want to complete every single module all at once. And so this is why I also have a very carefully designed system and structure to my program to help them not to feel overwhelmed. And then, of course, they also get one-to-one support inside of it. And what I usually say is, okay, we focus on this for week 1, we focus on this for week 2. Sometimes it's different from client to client. But what that helps to do is helps to understand that, okay, you're not going to create your lead magnet for your freebie before you've actually mastered who your ideal client is and what is your target message for them and what your target offer is for them. Similarly, you're not going to go out and do lead generation in your business before you have effective content in your business. And so you need to understand what the priorities are to do. What step 1, what step 2, what step 3, and what step 10. Because if you're overwhelmed, chances are you're trying to do step 1 through 10 all at the same time, and it's just not realistic for you. And I don't think anyone is going to expect that from you either. And so understanding what to prioritize in your business is so key to ending that overwhelm and to figuring out a realistic system and structure that truly works for you. And so this is one of the things that I work on a lot with my clients, is understanding what to prioritize first. And this is one of the biggest questions that I get. They tell me, I'm so overwhelmed because there's all of these different things to do. And I'm like, well, did you do module 1 first? And did you figure out your offer? Did you figure out, are we trying to nail down your sales calls? And working with a mentor, working with a coach can really help you to understand what you need to prioritize next in your business, because it doesn't look the same for each and every person. And so reason number 3, where you might feel super overwhelmed in your business is because you need to say no more often. So if you're saying yes to everything, and this kind of goes side by side with reason number 1, but if you're saying yes to everything, you're doing all the things. But most importantly, I think with reason number 3 here is you're saying yes to things that aren't a priority for you, that don't allow you to prioritize the things that you actually want to be doing. So what do I mean by this? Let's say, for example, you're already at $20,000 a month and you're just getting asked to be on podcasts left, right, and center. Or you have people in your DMs who are asking you for information almost every single day. None of them will get on sales calls with you. None of them will actually convert. That simple fact of you choosing to focus your energy there, or you choosing to focus your energy on being on podcasts with people who don't really have big enough audiences to make it worthwhile for you, and you continuously saying yes to every single opportunity that comes around for you, that's what's keeping you in overwhelm. And so I will even give you an example. I get asked to be on summits and be part of business bundles almost every single week in my business. And I get it. I used to love doing summits. I used to love asking other people to be on summits. I loved the vibe. I loved the energy of it. I loved the email list building that it did for me. Similarly with a business bundle, I loved the idea of it. But now at this specific stage in my business, for me to implement all of the marketing and all of the different emails and all of the different timeframes that it takes for me to be in that type of group collaboration just isn't worth my time. And I need to stick to the simplicity of my business in order for me to scale it to the level that I want it to scale it to. And so in order for me to do that, I need to say no to specific things. The same way that maybe if you're in the beginning of your business, you need to say no to all of the pro bono work that you're doing. Or you need to say no to all of the volunteer work that you're doing outside of your 9-to-5 so that you can focus on your business. When I first started out in business, I had a 9-to-5 and I also had a very demanding volunteer job. And one of the hardest things that I had to do was to say goodbye to my volunteer job because I knew that I wouldn't be able to prioritize everything as effectively as I wanted to. And so I had my 9-to-5. I also had a loving husband that I wanted to support behind the scenes and, give him attention in my life. And I had this new business that I wanted to create. And I knew that all of those things could not coexist. And so I needed to prioritize the things that actually had the most value to me. And I ultimately needed to say no to my volunteer position. And it was hard, but it was worth it because that made me avoid the overwhelm that I could have had from saying yes to too many different things at once. And my reason number 4 for why you're stuck in business overwhelm and how to change it is, let's say you are already saying no to a lot of things and you have all of your priorities in check and all of the things that you are saying yes to on a daily basis are priorities for you. You have your 9-to-5, you have your kids. And at the end of the day, you just don't have the time to be doing all the things that you need to be doing in your business. Like, let's say you're already at a $10K month or a $20,000 month and you really need to scale, or you're at $0 a month and you have a very demanding job and a very demanding family life and you're really struggling to balance it all. That is an indication that you need more team. And so if I did not have the team that I have right now, I would have never been able to get to $80,000 a month this year. And the reason for that is I would much rather have a team and have a really dedicated and specialized team to help me in my business than be working 50 or 60 hours a week. And this past year especially, I've taken, and this sounds so crazy to me, but in a 12-month period, I've taken probably about 3 months. I actually counted this. I've had a full 3 months this year. Okay, so 90 days of being overseas or not being at home. And so essentially holidaying and taking vacations. I was still working during those weeks. I was still working around like 10 to 20 hours a week, but it's still pretty awesome, isn't it? Right? This past year, I went to Los Angeles. I did a 2-week trip with my friends where we road tripped to Nicaragua. Then I took an entire week off and I went surfing. Then I took an entire month and I went to Portugal. We also went to Paris during that time. And then we took another month and we visited family back home in Canada in Toronto. And then we went to Vancouver. And then we even went to Panama City at the end of this year in Panama. So lots of different holidays that I took. And I would have never been able to take all of those holidays and work so little had I not had a team in place that was also really helping me behind the scenes, where I was just doing my due diligence with my clients. And essentially that was basically the only thing that I was doing all of those weeks that I was traveling. And so having a team in place or having people who are supporting you, even if the team isn't even in your business, let's say, for example, you hire a nanny or you hire house staff, you hire a cleaning lady who comes in and, maybe folds your laundry and cleans for you once a week. anything where you're getting extra support so you can take back more hours of your own time can really help you to ease that overwhelm and reprioritize, especially keeping you in your zone of genius in your own business. So I can guarantee you that if you go through all of those steps, so if you go through step 1 to step 4 that I just discussed, that you will drastically decrease that overwhelm and hopefully even get yourself to a place of flow in your business. And of course, like I always say, this is why it's always so helpful and important to hire coaches and to hire mentors in your business who are going to help you understand exactly why you're feeling like you're in overwhelm and how to reprioritize and really how to do things step by step in your business so that you can work smarter in your business without working harder and without feeling that overwhelm. All right. So hopefully you enjoyed this episode. I would really recommend that you implement it and let me know which one of these steps that you are implementing first. So you can always reach out to me on Instagram. It's at Sara without an H, JLoureiro. I would love to hear from you. Let me know what steps in specific you're implementing for ending overwhelm in your business, and I will give you my own personalized tips for it. All right. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world for me if you hit subscribe, gave it a like or a comment, and shared it with any of your friends that you feel like would really benefit from listening as well. All right. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll catch you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Uplevel Your Online Business Show. If you enjoy our show and would like the show notes and free goodies about how to grow your online coaching business, head over to sarajloureiro.com for more information. We hope you'll tune in next time.